Hello Year 8, welcome to the Mosque Challenge for Islam. I'm going to introduce to you today step 3. So far you've been looking at key facts around Islam, including the 5 pillars of Islam, and you've also been looking at the internal and external features of the mosque. All of that knowledge is going to help you with step 3. Now step 3 is all about designing your own mosque. Okay? Now I've uploaded this video, the one you're currently watching, onto YouTube, so you can pause it and go back and re-listen if you need to check anything or if you're not sure what you need to do. Now one thing you can do is pause and have a look at this 3-minute video. Okay, this 3-minute video shows you 20 of the most unusual mosques from around the world, or you can come back to it and have a look at it later. Now, the idea is to start thinking a little bit more creatively and start thinking about the design and architecture of your unique mosque. However, you must also include those key external, outside, and internal, inside features of the mosque. The next few slides are going to help you with this. One thing to remember is that the design of a mosque can vary according to culture, identity, technology, social, and political influences. So again, let's have a little look at different mosques from around the world. Here are lots of different mosque designs. You will see that they've got internal and external features in common. However, they are all very much influenced by their culture, identity, and socio and political surroundings. The first one is Jama Masjid in Delhi, India. I have been to this mosque. It's very grand, very old kind of style, Mughal style architecture. Very, very impressive. Masjid Walayla is a mosque that I've also been to in Kuala Lumpur. We actually visit here on the IGCSE religious studies trip. Now, what I like about Masjid Walayla is that it incorporates lots of different designs and cultural references from different Southeast Asian countries. So it has designs from lots of different places and different cultures. Sheikh Zayed in United Arab Emirates, this one here, is very famous and often considered to be the Grand Mosque. Its unique design of kind of white, shiny marble is very attractive and makes it kind of one of those kind of key icons or key mosques around the world that people instantly recognize. However, one of my favorite mosques has to be this one, the Great Mosque of Djenne in Mali. Now, this mosque, you can see, is very much influenced by its environment in the desert. It has a very unique structure. The mosque in Beijing, again, very much influenced by ancient Chinese culture, and of course, different mosques in Bangkok and across Thailand, including this one in Ayutthaya, very much influenced by Thai culture. Now, your task is going to be split into 2 options. You only need to complete either option A or option B. Okay, I'm going to explain the task to you. You need to make sure you are following and completing everything in the task. So option A is about imagining you are an architect. You've been asked to design a mosque for your town or city. Now, what I'd like you to do is create a model of a mosque. Now, you can use recyclable materials or resources that you find around the house. Okay, if you can use things that were perhaps going to be discarded or thrown away, that's even better. Make use of what materials you have in the house. Now, to help you do that, I've put together a building a mosque ideas pack for you, and I'm going to talk you through that in a little bit. Now, when you design your mosque and you make your model, you need to label each part to indicate what it's used for. Okay, you can't just make the mosque and not give us any information about it. Here are 2 examples of previous work from Year 8. Now, I've shown these 2 examples because actually they were given a commendation. Now, a commendation is a reward that's given by the head of senior school, so Mr. Miller, and it recognises that students have gone above and beyond their usual expectations. You have exceeded expectations. Now, what I really liked about these 2 mosques and why I put them forward for commendation is you can clearly see that they have focused on the outside and internal features of the mosque. It's very accurate. I liked that both of them had a feature which you could lift off the lid and you could look inside the mosque and you could see key features, like, for example, the minbar and the Qurans here. This mosque in particular I thought was very good. Okay, you see it's got the external feature of the minaret, but it also came with a guide around the mosque, and that's something you have to include in option A. So in option A, you must include an explanation as to why the mosque is important to the Muslim community. Now, lots of that we've already spoken about in the previous lesson. Now, your explanation can either be part of a leaflet, like here, for example, or if you want to be a little bit extra, you can do a short video tour. And I'm going to show you an example of that later. Now, you are going to create the mosque by hand. Okay, I don't want to have designs on the computer. The task is about getting you away from the computer and being a little bit more creative. However, you could have a leaflet, a paper leaflet that goes along with it, or if you wanted to, you could have an electronic leaflet that goes with it, or an electronic video, of course, because video would need to be electronic. However, the mosque itself, I would like you to build and design, okay? Now, task 2, option B, if you prefer not to make something, I want you to do the same task, but this time you can be a planner. Okay, imagine you're an architect, same as option A, but you have been asked to design a mosque for your town or city, and you need to draw an overhead plan. Now, if you're going to draw an overhead plan, you will also need to include a side plan. Okay, so I've added in some pictures for you. Here's an overview plan of a mosque. However, here's also a side angled sort of view, which also allows you to see the different features of the mosque. So if you're like, right, okay, I prefer not to make it, instead I can design it on A3 paper or A4 paper. Now, I'm still looking for the same amount of quality, and I'm still looking for the same amount of time being invested into option B as option A. So please don't see option B as, oh, that's kind of easier. I would actually say the detail and the intricacies of designing an overhead and side plan could actually be quite a lot harder, and is even more of a challenge than building the mosque by hand or making a model. Now, with option B, you also need to label and indicate what each of the different features are. So you still need to label those external and internal features. Same as option A, you also need to include an explanation as to why the mosque is important to the Muslim community. Now, for option B, you can't include a video element. Okay, you would just need to make either a leaflet or a poster guide to go along with your design. This would also need to make sure it's got colour, detail, and accurate information, but more on that later. Now, what I've done is put together some examples for you of student examples of a mosque leaflet. So again, for option A and option B, you could create a leaflet, or you have the different options of a video for option A, and you also have the option of making a poster for option B. Okay, but if you're going to make a leaflet, I really liked these two student examples. This one, the student put into a short little video, so I'm just going to show it to you now. There's no sound. But as you can see, there's lots of detail, there's pictures, there's colour, there's been a lot of thought and effort gone into that. And when I read it, it was actually very, very good. It's got lots of facts, lots of accurate information. Now, this one I also liked. This one accompanied a model. Okay, so this one came along with a model. So somebody had designed the model of the mosque, and they've made this leaflet to go along with it. I like this one, simple but effective. It's got all the important information about the external and internal features of the mosque. Now, if you want to go a little bit above and beyond, the other thing you could do for option A only is if you design and build a mosque, you must remember build it by hand. You can't do a virtual mosque. Okay, this was actually for year 11. This year 11 student decided to do a virtual tour of a mosque online. Okay, but for you guys, you need to make it. But what you could do is add in a virtual tour of your mosque. So you could design your mosque, you can build it, you can make it, and then instead of a leaflet, you can do a talk over video and show me your mosque. Okay, so in a way, you are presenting the mosque that you have made. All right, I'm not going to show you all of this, but you can come back and have a little look at it later. Of course, this student, being in year 11, they designed their mosque on the computer. Yours won't be designed on the computer, don't forget. You're going to build your mosque, but you could also include a video element. Seems to be a little problem with the video. There we go. And here you go, it's just giving a little virtual tour of that mosque. For you, you can add a little mosque or a little a video that kind of gives a guide on the mosque that you have made, all for option A. Now, make sure you are using the sources, okay? This is incredibly important. Last lesson, the mind map was designed to get you thinking about the features of the mosque. You can go back and have a look at the video from last lesson, or quite simply, you can open up these slides and all the information you need to do to complete either option A or option B effectively is in these slides. So everything in here tells you all about the different features of the mosque, okay? Everything that you would need to know or include for your mosque design. One key thing to note and to remember, of course, is this one. We don't have pictures of statues in a mosque or pictures of people. That is considered to be forbidden, and we don't have representations of God or Prophet Muhammad, okay? So use this to your advantage. You must include the different important external and internal features of the mosque. These might include things like the minaret, the san, the dome, the minbar, the mihrab, the washing areas, etc. Okay, please make sure you've done that accurately. Here is your success criteria, and I'm actually going to post this separately in Google Classroom to make it nice and easy for you, and you can use this like a tick sheet. In your project, you must include key specialist vocabulary. Make sure you're checking spelling, make sure it's accurate, make sure that it is correct, okay? Illustrations or design appropriate for the mosque, descriptions of the important external features of the mosque, such as the minaret, the dome, and the san, and a description of the important internal features, such as the minbar, including the qibla, the mihrab, and the washing areas. Remember, for both option A and option B, an explanation of the significance of the mosque for the Muslim community is needed. Okay, the task is not complete without that explanation, and that's the bit I'm going to be focusing on as part of my marking. So remember, the mosque must be illustrated or designed or made by hand, not on the computer. Use materials and resources that you have available at home only. I've added in a keyword glossary, so this is already in our classroom stream, but you can go back and have a look. If you get stuck on some of the key terms, some of them sound quite similar. So always go back and check. Make sure you're looking and referencing the keyword glossary as you go along. Now, to help you, I've added in some videos of how to build a mosque. These are just simple videos from YouTube, and you can have a little look and think about how you might decide to design your mosque and what you want it to look like. Remember, please be really careful if you're using things like scissors or sharp materials. I'd really encourage you to ask people at home to help you with this task. Okay, be careful, don't do anything risky. At the end, I've also got lots of other useful resources, but like I said, you spent a lot of time looking at facts around Islam and information all about the mosque already, so you should have the knowledge now to go ahead and design your mosque. Now, one thing I'm also going to include, if I go back up to building a mosque, I'm also myself going to build a mosque to show you how it can be done. I'm going to add that in a little video, a separate video later, so you can have a look at Miss Garnett's gallery guide on how to build a mosque. So if you have any questions Year 8, feel free to ask in Google Hangout. You can get cracking with your task. Please choose between option A and option B nice and quickly, and then go ahead and get going with the design of your mosque. Any questions, please let me know. Best of luck. I am very much looking forward to seeing what you can do with this challenge.